Hello and welcome to another collection update. Yes, it's that time again where I do a birthday collection update. Yes, it's a little later than usual, it's about 3 weeks later. And yeah, this collection update compared to last year's birthday collection update is pretty small because last year I had loads of book bundles. This year it's quite contained, it's got a little bit of everything, so it's quite nice because there wasn't that much stuff what I wanted, so I was very pleased with what I got. And I'll showcase that, I will show you that later on. Of course, I do have a few rare items. The rarest item I will show at the end, and it is quite a new item. It's about 2 years old, and it's going for mega money, and I'll show you that at the end. So without further ado, let's begin this update. Not strictly a birthday present, but we have DWM. I thought I might as well show it in the collection update with the new logo. So what do I think of a new logo? I quite like the new logo. It's very subtle, but my only issue is it going to be eye-catching in a shop? Is it going to, when you've got all the other Doctor Who magazines, is it going to stand out? So yeah, lovely TARDIS there. So yeah, quite a good issue. Yeah, DWM. So moving on to the figure, we have a very rare new series figure, and that is this, the Doctor Who Experience Amelia Pond figure. Yeah, I went to the Experience in March 2011, and they announced this about a month later. So I was a little bit peeved that I missed the chance to get this. And yeah, this figure is worth from 50 to 80 quid, which is just incredible when you see, you know, how big this figure is. So if I just get just a standard 5-inch figure, you know, that for £80, you know, I didn't pay 80 quid for it. I think I paid 25 quid. She did come with a suitcase, so yeah, nice little figure, and nice figure to have in the collection, really. So moving on to DVDs, we have the Vengeance on Varos special edition. Now I've had the original since 2007, so I think it was long overdue an update. So now I've got the special edition, and I haven't watched Vengeance on Varos since like 2010, so I think I need to re-watch Vengeance on Varos later on. So yeah, I've watched the special features so far on this, and I really enjoyed this special feature called Nasty or Nice. And it's very much a case study of whether Vengeance on Varos is nasty or is it nice, and it's done by Matthew Sweet, and it's very insightful. Talk about Philip Martin, Eric Saywood, all the people involved, and it's quite interesting to sort of give their perspective on Vengeance on Varos and how it was a bit ahead of its time, really. So yeah, very nice Vengeance on Varos there. And the final DVD is Scream of the Shulker. Richard E. Grant as the Doctor. Blink and you've probably missed his era as the Doctor. Yeah, done in 2003. And I will say this, it's a very interesting nugget of what if Doctor Who didn't come back to our screens. This would have been, Richard E. Grant would have been the 9th Doctor. Yeah, I will say that it takes about 3 or 4 episodes for you to start to click with Richard E. Grant's Doctor, because as the story progresses he becomes more Doctor-y, if that makes sense. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting nugget of Doctor Who history. It's quite interesting watching the special features just to see how much of a struggle this was to get made, how much was up against it, and you know, when you've got that context, you do appreciate Scream of the Shulker, because this might not have never have happened because the BBC were just like whatever. So yeah, it's very nice to have that. Yeah, it's not a thing I will revisit often. I think it's one of those things you've got to be in the mood for Shulker. But yeah, I did enjoy it. I think I'll give Scream of the Shulker a 7 out of 10. So yeah, pretty good. Definitely worth giving a watch just to have a bit of a what if, you know, what if Doctor Who was animated, really. You know, this would have been our 9th Doctor. So kicking off the book section, we have a Big Finish short trip book, which is the Dalek Empire short trip book, which is pretty rare. It's about 50 quid. You can probably get it for a lot cheaper. I managed to get this for about 18 quid, so it's an absolute bargain. And this is basically a tie-in to the Dalek Empire series. It's got a few short stories involving the Dalek Empire characters. So it's got a story with Kalendorf, Albie and Susan Mendez. It's got the script for Museum Piece, the short trip of the 8th Doctor. It's got the script for the Return of the Daleks, that 7th Doctor story, a special release. But the main reason I wanted to get it was for the 3rd Doctor and Dalek story, just because I wanted to see how those two translate on page, because I think they're quite interesting. And yeah, I just wanted to have another 3rd Doctor Dalek story, because I'm a huge sucker for anything with the third Doctor, so I'm naturally going to love it. So yeah, Dalek Empire, the Big Finish short trip book. I'm very happy to have this in my collection because I've been after this for. So now moving on to a bit of an obscure book. Some of you might not have heard of this, and it is this. Now on the big screen, the unofficial guide of Doctor Who at the movies. So this basically covers all the Doctor Who movies, what happened and what didn't happen. So it's a really interesting book. It talks about the Peter Cushing movies. It talks about the various movies that didn't happen, like there was going to be a Yeti movie called Night of the Intelligence. Just really interesting. There was going to be, it talks about Tom Baker and Ian Marter's movie Doctor Who Meets the Scratchman, which I've read about, and it sounds really bizarre, and it's something what you think, my god, they were really mad to think that, but you kind of wish you could see it because it just seems really interesting, this giant pinball machine with the Dr. Harry and Sarah, you know, with Daleks on this massive pinball machine happening. It just sounds really interesting. Yeah, and it's quite fascinating. I find myself quite often when I'm a bit bored that I'll just pick this book up and just start reading about various Doctor Who movies, because it does cover about the movies what were supposedly going to happen in the early 90s. So it's a really fascinating book just to know about the various films, what could have happened, because it does have a full synopsis. It talks about how the idea was developed and how long that was in the pipeline for. So Doctor and the Cricket Men was going to happen in 1976, but it was dropped in 1981. So it's a really interesting book. You know, it talks about the Peter Cushing movies, like I said, and I really like the cover. I think it's quite a nice cover actually, and it's definitely a bit of a novelty item, and I really like it. I think it's quite fascinating. Really, yeah, I just really like it. I do love this book. I think it's a great book, and I highly recommend it if you want to know about various Doctor Who movies, what could have happened and did happen. And the final book I'm going to show you is this, Doctor Who and the Cricket Men. I remember stumbling across this website about unmade Doctor Who stories. I remember reading about the Cricket Men and just thinking, my god, that sounds amazing, I want to know more. When they announced they were novelising it, I was just like, yeah, I need this in my life. And yeah, I've only just started reading it. I'm about 50 pages within it, and I'm really loving it, because I think I would like to review this book in the future. Because I've got that now on the big screen book, you know, talking about the history of the Cricket Men. I think it'd be quite an interesting thing to implement the history section within the Cricket Men. So to start the review off and then review this book, because there are a few changes between the initial idea and the novelisation, because the main difference obviously, the original version was going to have Sarah Jane in, but this book has Romana too. So I think it'd be quite interesting to review. I'm not making promises that this is definitely going to happen, I'm going to review it, but it's something I would like to do, because I think it'll make quite an interesting video and quite an interesting review, to look how the Cricket Men changed and evolved over the years, and to where it finally happened in a book. So yeah, I think it'll be quite an interesting video, and if I do review this will be the biggest Doctor Who book I've reviewed to date. I think the biggest Doctor Who book I reviewed so far on the channel is Engines of War. But yeah, I'm 50 pages within it, so the review might not happen for quite some time, but if it does happen. But yeah, I'm absolutely loving the Cricket Men, and it's just a real fun book so far. I'm loving it. I'm only 50 pages within it, and I think it's an absolute great book. So yeah, Doctor and the Cricket Men. Right, on to Big Finish. So if we start off with the main range, we have Ghost Walk, which I have reviewed. I will leave a link in the description below to all the Big Finish releases, what I've reviewed in the description below, so you can check out the reviews to hear my full thoughts on those stories. Yes, Ghost Walk by James Goss, a story I was incredibly excited to listen to, and yeah, very nice story, I will say that. Then we have March's release, which is the last season 19 TARDIS crew story from that trilogy, and that is Serpent in the Silver Mask by David Llewellyn. Yeah, I managed to review this on the day it was released, and I was incredibly proud of myself because I managed to do that. Some of you might be wondering, have I stopped reviewing CDs? And the answer is no, I haven't stopped doing CD reviews. I just wanted to see if I could get a review out on the same day a story was released, and I managed to do it. So yeah, check out my review for that if you want to know my thoughts on that, because David Llewellyn, like I say, is a writer who is very mixed. I can either love him or I can hate his story. So yeah, you'll see whether the Serpent in the Silver Mask, I love it or hate it if you haven't seen the review. So yeah, next Big Finish release is Jago and Lightfoot Series 11. Yes, with Jago and Lightfoot there, Colin Baker and the Master. Ooh yes, yeah, Jeffrey Beaver. So yeah, this is the yeah, I only need 2 more Jago and Lightfoot releases, and I have the complete run. I just need Series 9, and I have ordered Jago and Lightfoot Forever, which is out in May. So yeah, I look forward to getting that, and of course, Jago and Lightfoot is the best spin-off. So yeah, Jago and Lightfoot there, Series 11. Then we have another spin-off, and that is Doctor Who Gallifrey Time War Volume 1. Again, I have reviewed this. I thought I'd make quite an interesting review because this is meant to be a jumping on point, and you'll see in the review whether it is a jumping on point. So yeah, check out my review to know my full thoughts on Gallifrey Time War Volume 1. Just put that there. There you go. Then the next big finish is a limited edition, and it is the Worlds of Doctor Who. Now, this was released back in 2014, the same year I got into Big Finish, and it is basically 4 stories looking at 4 different spin-offs of Doctor Who. So we've got Jago and Lightfoot, the first story, the second story is Unit, the third story I think is Countermeasures, and the last story is on Gallifrey. So yeah, very nice to have this in the collection. It's the last Doctor Who book limited edition thing I needed. I might review it in the future, and the only story Colin Baker's in is the 4th, and I think the linking feature within this story is a character called Reese. So yeah, look forward to giving that a listen at some point in the future. So yeah, the Worlds of Doctor Who. The final Big Finish thing I'm going to show you, it hasn't arrived yet, it hasn't come in the post, but because I'm modern and hip and cool, I can show you it via the app, the Big Finish app, and that is this, the Third Doctor Adventures Volume 4. Yes, isn't that exciting? The Third Doctor versus the Meddling Monk and the Cybermen. Yeah, I have listened to both stories. I just need to write the reviews, and then that'll be up next Saturday, so that'll be my next video, a review of that. This has been my most anticipated Big Finish release because it's the Third Doctor versus the Cybermen. What more can you want from a story? Yeah, absolutely. I will say this before the actual review. This is my favourite of the series so far, and I haven't reviewed Volume 2 and I haven't reviewed Volume 3, and I would like to review them in the future, because you don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing really if I say this is an improvement. So yeah, Third Doctor Adventures Volume 4, very exciting stuff, and that'll be the next review out next Saturday. So there we go, Third Doctor. Oh yes. Right, the moment you've probably all been waiting for, the rare item. Some of you might be very underwhelmed when you see this, because you're like, is that it? Is that really it? But when you hear how much this item goes for, you'll be incredibly shocked. And it is a new series item, and it's only just turned 2 years old, so it is relatively new. And it is this, the Series 9 Steelbook. Yeah, I can hear a lot of sighs going, is that it? You know, I can tell that some of you are probably underwhelmed. But yeah, the Series 9 Steelbook, this was limited to 1,000 worldwide. It was an Amazon exclusive, and it now retails from anywhere from £180 to £360. I've been in bid wars with this. I've seen people, you know, just within a matter of seconds just go up to 300 quid. Some people have paid £350 just for the Steelbook like that, without the little card there. And luckily this does come with everything. It does have the Series 9 facts there, which is very nice. But yeah, I am incredibly happy to have this in my collection, because I do own Series 9 already, but it's just the fact because I've been getting into Steelbooks quite recently, it would just annoy me. The OCD within me would just annoy me not having Series 9, just having Series 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, Series 10. You know, it would just annoy me, because I'm that type of fan where I've just got to have everything complete. And yeah, I'm so happy to have this. I haven't paid, I will say this is the most expensive item in my collection. I'm not sure how much my parents paid for it, but they did say it was under 200 quid. So yeah, I'm very happy to have this. You know, I'm very happy to have Clara dying in HD, which is nice, and have Heaven Sent in HD and Under the Lake and Before the Flood in lovely HD. But yeah, I think that this is a thing of absolute beauty. I love it. It's become one of my favourite items of my collection. I love it. I think it's absolutely great. Yeah, I know Series 9 isn't the best series, but to be honest, the Steelbook makes it look a lot more nicer, and I just love it. I love the lovely art of Peter Capaldi looking lovely there with the nice little Gallifreyan symbols. Oh yeah, I'm just so happy to have this in the collection, because I'll be honest, I didn't think I'd ever own this, because I thought it was just one of those impossible things, because it was just so rare and it just goes for stupid money. Yeah, you know, I wouldn't pay 300 quid or 200 quid for it. You know, I think about 150 was like my max I would pay for it. I'm not exactly sure how much my parents paid for it, but I'm just so happy to have this. You know, you might not understand, but it's just so satisfying just to, you know, just do this. I have ordered the Series 3 Steelbook, so if I just unhook the camera from the tripod, and it's just so satisfying just to have that, just to know that, you know, Series 9's there in Steelbook form with the others. So yeah, I'm just incredibly happy. I have ordered Series 3 and that's not out until like the end of May, but oh, I'm so happy to have that, just to know Series 9 is in the collection. It's just, oh, lovely, absolutely wonderful. So yeah, that concludes this collection update. The rare item is the Series 9 Steelbook, which, oh, I absolutely love. I think it's absolutely gorgeous, and I've just become really addicted to Steelbooks. I just think they look marvellous. So yeah, that concludes this collection update. I'll probably do one in April, maybe May, because obviously got a bit of birthday money to spend, and of course that's going to go on Doctor Who. I have ordered the Series 12, well, Season 12 Blu-ray with Tom Baker, and I have ordered the Ravenous as well for the 8th Doctor Big Finish series out next month. So yeah, lovely. Oh, Series 9 Steelbook, a thing of beauty. So yeah, there we go, that concludes this birthday collection update. Hope you have enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. So thank you very much, and goodbye.